Tick, 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 tick. Do, da, do, do, do. Da, do, da, do, do. Da, do, do, do. Ricky, ticky, 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 do.
Evolution is a mystery, full of change that no one sees. Clock makes a fool of history.
Ricky, ticky, do.
Yesterday's too long ago. Don't agree with what I know. Tomorrow's got no place to be.
Ricky, ticky, do.
I see the light in the sand. Time to find out who I am.
Ricky, ticky, do.
Looking back to see where I stand. Evolution.
Hello, I'm King Ross, your Milo subjects, and this video is going to take bloody ages to get through, so let's get on with it. These are all the WTF Moments for WWE SummerSlam 2017. And wouldn't you just know it, because SummerSlam is such a special occasion, I put myself through the pain of watching that bastard pre-show. Why do they have to be 2 hours long? And we kick things off with Charlie Caruso. He says, "What's up, Renee? I'm having the time of my life back here. Look at her there. How can she be having the time of her life? She's sat there on her own with a bastard television that doesn't even have any channels." Charlie then claims she's going to be joined by 2 former brothers in the social media lounge. That leaves me asking one question: what on earth does she do when she turns up for work every Monday? Because one thing she doesn't do is watch the bastard show. Unless, of course, she's a classy lady who averts her eyes at the sight of fisting. So according to Jerry the Fake King Lawler on last week's WWE SmackDown Live, Baron Corbin laid out John Cena with a steel chair. Now I tell you what, lads, the only person on God's green WWE universe who could make that shiny blue briefcase into a chair is former WWE United Kingdom champion Tyler Bate. Next up, we have Baron Corbin and the fact that he claims that he does not regret losing his WWE Money in the Bank chair, Jerry, on last week's SmackDown Live. One word: bollocks. And while we're here, Baron, you stick your nose into people's business. You don't stick the people into the nose. Unless, of course, they're the borrowers. That right there is the crowd that watched the opening match of the pre-show. As you can see, all 6 men are in the ring. Now, I am well aware that they opened the doors pretty late at the Barclays Centre, meaning the fans heading into the arena couldn't have a little browse around of the shops and then make it to the first match. But still, it wasn't as if it was a match that was must-see. It's a 6-man tag you expect to see on Raw every single bastard week. Meaning, the moral of this story is don't have 2-hour bastard pre-shows. They're unnecessary. Who cares about them? Ow. Next up, we have Corey Graves claiming that Curtis Axel is experiencing life on the A-list for the very first time. Now, I don't know about you, but I would argue that having that man in your corner is as pretty top as it gets. I tell you what, though, they really want you to forget that ever happened, don't they? But don't you worry, I will never, ever let that happen, Curtis, with your lovely see-through hair. Booker T asks if Jason Jordan would be here in WWE if it wasn't for his dad, Kurt Angle. Well, Booker, let's just look at the lad's career. The wonderful amateur part, signed by WWE in 2011, when he didn't know about Kurt Angle being his dad. That was followed by the American Alpha years, which wielded NXT Tag Team Championship Gold and SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship Silver. And then, after all of that, he found out his dad was Kurt Angle. So the answer to your question is yes, he would be here, you numpty. I tell you what, when there's no one in the building apart from your own social media guys, surely you'd want to hide that fact. Nope. Not. Dun 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 dun. No fanciful stories to report back from my sources within WWE. The fact of the matter is Kevin Dunn's reactions are just far too slow. Huh? I don't know know if this was just my network, but technical difficulties meant that while explaining what happened on Raw last week, Corey Graves turned into Paul Johnson's hit, Get Down. Corey claimed that Tozawa turned the WWE Universe upside down when he won the Cruiserweight Championship last week on Raw. What a tune. Newman claims that Tozawa's been laid out by the Inzaguri there. Newman is wrong. Oh my tits, just off Rosenberg. Moans about xenophobic naysayers just hours before he set to defend his WWE Championship against a man from Japan that every single American likes. Good one, Jinder. Numpty. That pleb there asking if you remember a night so early in two people's careers that was so goddamn important to them. That, of course, is Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura, who both debuted within the Squared Circle in the year of 2002. That is 15 years ago, and him there is a complete fucking prick. As Ellsworth put it so brilliantly, I see Bobby Heenan with that jacket, but where on earth are the brains? The baldy brains. It's John O'Clock, motherfuckers! Yeah! And we kick things off with the John O'Clock tings with the Momon. John claimed that Tom told us that the Usos could become the first 4-time WWE Tag Team Champions since the Hardys, when in fact, as we all heard, because we have ears that work and we use them right, Tom told us that the Usos could become the first 4-time Tag Team Champions since the Dudley Boys in 2001. With comments like that, there is absolutely no way you could claim that JBL is woke. JBL, that sumbitch there, is just very, very broke. Broken. Get this right, Xavier Woods' headbutt from the top rope sends Anna Uso halfway across the ring. How on earth is that possible? It turns out that Xavier Woods must be more Samoan than those very Samoan Usos, because if WWE history has told us anything, a Samoan's head is so hard and so thick AF, it is impervious to pain. I tell you, they're harder than JBL when he's looking at pictures of naked muscular ladies. Not only that, he didn't just do it once, Xavier, he continued to give head more times during the match. It's John O'Clock, motherfuckers! This time, JBL claims that the Usos are now 4-time WWE SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. Quite frankly, they're not. They are 2-time WWE SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions and also 2-time WWE Tag Team Champions. 2 different sets of belts, 2 reigns. 2 times 2 equals 4. We haven't seen Dolph Ziggler for bare time, fam, but we finally have an answer as to where the he is. He's taken that Colonel Sanders shtick and gone full time with it. I tell you what though, I just hope one thing from Ziggler and the Colonel Sanders shtick. I hope he takes his finisher, the zigzag, and renames it the Zinger, because that's a burger from KFC and those zingers completely destroy you. My close personal friend Kenny McIntosh is inside the ropes over the weekend. Released details of a tour they have upcoming with Shawn Michaels. I recommend you go to them because they are very, very good shows indeed. However, that announcement for that tour and Shawn Michaels appearing on the SummerSlam pre-show has me wondering if he's struggling for monies. And looking at him there, it certainly suggests he is. The funny thing is, however, they didn't have to do much to get him looking like that. All they had to do was provide the costume and the glasses, because HBK is old AF. Of course, with every single WWE event, the opening package for the main show was absolutely spot on, wonderfully produced. However, it was glorifying and promoting graffiti, which of course for some is a complete eyesore, and for everybody, it affects everybody. It costs local government authorities millions to eradicate each year. Tut tut WWE, tut tut tut. It's John O'Clock, motherfuckers! This time we have JBL telling us that Baron Corbin realised he could cash in his Money in the Bank contract and become WWE champion, a statistical certainty. Is that right, John? You go and ask John bloody Cena. You go and ask Damien Sandow if cashing in Money in the Bank contracts is a statistical certainty, because they'll tell you it's not. It can happen to any one of us. Say you will forgive me. Anyone can fail. Say you will believe me. I can't take. My heart will break. 'Cause I made a stupid mistake. A stupid mistake. Oh, I need to mind my P's and Q's on Twitter from now on, or I might not win another match. Meh. It's Johnny Cook again! I don't know, I've lost count. JBL claiming that if there's one thing John Cena does, it's win big matches. What a funny thing to say at SummerSlam 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. Cena lost them all. John, I'm gonna look like Gwen Stefani after this. It's John and Cook again! They're not belts, they're titles or championships, you idiot. You can't fool us, Kevin, even though that sight there appeared during Naomi's entrance. We all know it's your teeth feeling the glow, dancing along and knocking the bloody satellites in space out of whack. Ballin', it's John and Cook, motherfuckers! Next up, JBL claims that Natalya is the only graduate from the Hard Dungeon. You missed out the word female, you dick. Speaking of Natalya, and that fan there, you would think was a massive fan of hers. However, he simply can't be because, as you can see there, he has spelled heart in the way of the body pump and not in the way of the Canadian word that rhymes with pump. I tell you what, we're spelling like that fan aorta. Get a bloody dictionary, do you get it? Aorta, heart. Kurt Angle asked Daniel Bryan if SmackDown will have the better matches like Raw at SummerSlam, and then starts chanting yes, yes, yes like a complete numpty. He has no faith in his own brand, quite clearly. I always knew he was always Team SmackDown from way back in the day when he appeared and GM'd them back in the day. I mean, it's been clear for ages he always wears blue suits and has beautiful blue eyes. This time JBL comes back with a stat he gets wrong every single bastard week when he claims that Randy Orton is the youngest WWE champion of all time. He isn't, John. He's the youngest World Heavyweight champion, the youngest WWE champion. Is Brock Lesnar. 2 different belts, 2 different record holders. Take 2 of my fingers and shove them up your Cadbury Alley. It's John Cook again! Now John's claiming that since Ruru, my bear, my spirit animal, has come to SummerSlam, he has targeted both John Cena and Randy Orton. Now then, speaking about Ruru and SummerSlam, last year he almost faced Roman Reigns before that big pussy injured him before the match. So instantly, what JBL said is incorrect. Of course he meant to say SmackDown Live since he's returned. He doesn't know where the he is, does JBL. He's trying to give me a heart attack with all these John O'Clock moments, quite clearly. And the treatment WWE are showing my bear, my spirit animal Ruru, is absolutely shocking. I want him to leave WWE. I want WCPW to hastily arrange a Bulgarian qualifier to the Pro Wrestling World Cup. I want Rusev to win that. I want Rusev to be in the finals in Newcastle this very weekend. I want Rusev to win the entire bastard tournament. I will come down the ramp, we'll pop some champagne, we'll drink all day and party all bastard night. I tell you what though, that SummerSlam match, if you want to see it, don't bother, it's absolute bollocks. She's not like. Next up we have Michael Cole in the moment. He claimed we're going to join the French commentary team of Raymond Rougeau and Jean Broussard. I think that's right. Let's just turn around and look at that screen there. And no, Michael, you're completely wrong, you dork. I'm surprised that while doing this, Michael didn't just go full Tribbiani and start making French noises when the French lads appeared on the screen. It's time to join our French commentary team, he would say. Je ne peux pas play and je ne casse pas. Alexa Bliss tapped out really quick, didn't she? Too f***ing quick if you ask me. What the hell's wrong with you, woman? Fight for your championship. Hey, she only lasted 2 seconds with Sasha, and there's a really creepy joke that I know you men out there are thinking, but I'm not going to say because it's creepy. Michael Cole, what the hell are you on? Sweet thigh music? Come on, pal. Surely it has to be sweet chicken music. Chick rhymes with kick and kick rhymes with dick. And guess which part of that trifecta you are? Go back and watch it when you see Bray Wyatt looking like that. Bray's all like, got him! Got him! Yeah! This time we have Booker claiming that the Shield were Tag Team of the Year in 2013. Corey Graves replies by telling Booker that 2013 was a long time ago. Booker replies, nah pal, that's experience. What on earth is he talking about? Seth and Dean have been apart for 3 years and 2 months, while Sheamus and Cesaro have been a team for the last 11 months as part of the Bar Bar Bar. Experience doesn't count then, does it, when a team has been together for so long compared to a team that has been apart for so long? Booker, you numpty. What a magnificent bastard. Stick your beach ball up your Cadbury Alley. And shit out again. This time, Booker claims that Seth and Dean's strategy in their tag team championship match against the Bar was for Seth Rollins to get the shit kicked out of him, and then for Dean Ambrose to pick up the scraps and take on the Bar all on his lonesome. This is even though the reason that Dean Ambrose had to take such a prolonged break from the match was due to a sneaky Sheamus attack that they didn't see coming and simply could not have planned for. We've all got that pal, haven't we? The one that talks absolute shit in a vain attempt to make himself sound very clever. Well, that on Raw is Booker T. When Seth Rollins turns Cesaro into a FIFA player. R.I.P. mate, what a pissing spot that was. No pyro at SummerSlam. This dawned on me during AJ Styles entering some biggest party of the bastard summer this is. It's more like a f***ing funeral. Hey, even funerals have more pyro than SummerSlam did because you get cremated sometimes. Oh, it's John O'Clock! This time, John claims that AJ Styles versus John Cena from SummerSlam 2016 was one of the best matches of SummerSlam 2216. How on earth can he say something like that? Hey, we know AJ Styles will be dead. Me and you will be as well. But what about Super Cena? We'll know he'll still be alive because he's bloody invincible. But who will he be facing in 2216 for the WWE Multiverse Championship? I reckon it'll be Perry Saturn. And Saturn's nickname is the face that runs the space. Science thing. The commentators do not know the difference between voluntary and involuntary. What you are seeing there is clearly voluntary. Kevin Owens saw AJ Styles on the top rope. He saw Shane McMahon was near the top rope. He pushed Shane McMahon into the top rope. The top rope wobbled. AJ Styles squashed his bowels. And then they got to claim it's hard to tell what happened when Kevin Owens, who was down going to get a 450 splash hitting him by Styles, pulled Shane McMahon on top of him, so Shane took the brunt of the move. We all know that JBL turns up to work pissed as a fart, but it seems the rest of the commentary team believes Shane McMahon does exactly the same because they think he's not getting pushed into the top rope. They think he's stumbling around. And then when he's flopping on top of big sweaty men, they think he's doing that because he's had a fucking skinful. He hasn't. It's voluntary movement by Kevin Owens to do so. Now then, these little cutscenes with the commentary teams from far away in the top corner are WTF Moments squared. First of all, what is happening in the lower screen is not a replay, it is a live shot of the ring, so why on earth does it say replay in the bottom corner? Can you tell me why? Nothing but... And second of all, and I know that WWE are trying to hype up the international appeal of this match by showing two foreign superstars in the ring commentated on by two foreign commentary teams, but how is this meant to be more special than any other pay-per-view when those commentary teams are there all the bastard time? How do I know this? Because I lust over Russia's Jean Perementsev every single time. The sexy Russian fox. The only thing that's making this a little bit more special than normal is the fact that these foreign commentators don't have to turn around and go, "Hello, I'm from Russia." They have a camera pointed in their face. This is just another example of WWE patting themselves on the arse when their arses don't deserve to be patted. So Jinder Mahal's new nickname, Grinder, to reflect his in-ring style. And I always thought he was more of a Tinder man. Jinder Grinder. If you understand that, you do. If you don't, go f*** yourself. John O'Clock, everybody. JBL saying the Japanese strong style is hardcore is simply not correct when the word hardcore has so many connections and connotations with other areas of professional wrestling. It's like getting a fish, putting him in the top of a tree and expecting him to juggle some lady balls. Just not going to happen. Oh my God. Oh, I'm out.
Yes.
It's John O'Clock. This time JBL claims that Nakamura won his first MMA fight against a man called Gracie. Quite frankly, he did not. If you look at that screen there, which is taken from Wikipedia, which of course is the place that JBL researches every single bit of shit that comes out of his mouth because it's always wrong. You'll see the top box there is red, which means that JBL is a little bit Darius. Colorblind! That's a triangle choke, not an armbar, you Chris Jericho bish! I tell you what, I do not see why Nakamura had to deal with the Singh brothers like the commentary team claimed he had to. All he had to do, because you know, the Singhs are this tall, you could pick them and put them on the shelf. If they hit Shinsuke Nax is not going to feel it whatsoever, so why not, in full sight of the referee, who was still conscious by the way when they got involved, if you remember correctly, just let one of them hit you. The referee sends them out, the odds have been evened. Fair game. Silly babyface being noble when he should be a bit more clever. This time, Booker T claimed that in an albeit imaginary poll, Roman Reigns was voted the most hated WWE superstar of 2016. Now, it's safe to say, Booker, if you're besmirching his big doggy dog live on air, there's only one thing going to happen to you, pal. Vince McMahon, he's coming for you. I tell you what, this editor will never learn, will he? I'm not going to be racist. All I was going to call him was a nene, which is apparently a Hawaiian goose. Len Goodman's Partners in Rhyme. Look it up. It's the best show ever. It has its new entry. Roman Reigns has shit for brains. There's a Roman Reigns dance now, as these two showing as I will demonstrate now. Oh.
Da-da, 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 da-da.
Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men. Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men. Vince McMahon likes big sweaty men.
This time, Booker claims that Brock Lesnar knows nothing but winning. I mean, that's just not true, is it? He's lost WWE matches, and hey, he has lost 3 matches within the MMA and had one thrown out for being a big cheaty bastard. Oh, pal! 2002 Ronaldo called he wants his haircut back. A direct quote from Michael Cole. Guys, let's put this into perspective. These are huge men, all nearly 300 pounds, and they're flying around like they're cruiserweights. If big sweaty men are flying around, how on earth are little sweaty men supposed to be impressive? That is the reason that 205 Live is failing. The style is not exclusive to them anymore. And it's way more impressive seeing Braun Strowman do a 450 splash. Hang on a second, so Braun Strowman can lift and then push over a bastard ambulance, but when he lifts and pushovers an announce table, he has to sit down and he sells his back and he's out of breath and he's completely fair. That doesn't make much sense to me, you know. Brock retains WTF. I suppose he's not going to UFC just yet. I suppose we'll have to wait until his contract expires just after WrestleMania 30. Four, and I hope to fucking Christ that match is a no-holds-barred encounter against Braun Strowman with the championship on the line. Shit out of WhatCulture signs. And is this the 3rd time? I don't know. I've lost count. Those fucking hand perverts were back again, and somebody needs to explain to me why or I will cry.